A very good day to everyone and a warm greetings to the honorable judges. I am VALLAVAN and I will be presenting on my project entitled Dimeric Sesquiterpene DS compound from Basidiomycetes strain FREEM 550 revealed the potential activity against methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus MRSA. This project is a collaboration project between FREEM and UKM. Without further ado, let's start off with the introduction. The most comprehensive data up to today's date on the global burden of antimicrobial resistance, known as AMR, claims that an estimated 1.2 million deaths were a direct result of the antibiotic-resistant bacterial infection in 2019. Global research on AMR provides compelling evidence that AMR is not a futuristic threat, but it is very important as a present global crisis that requires an immediate action and responsibility for preserving the existing antibiotics that no longer effective against the bacterial infections for current and future generations. As we can see, the MRSA attributes to more than 100,000 deaths out of 1.2 million as per global death record. The MRSA has been treated with the vancomycin, but vancomycin is recently experiencing the resistance. As we can see, we can start to experience the ineffectiveness of the antibiotic, and there's a require for the new antibacterial treatment. WHO Assistant Director General stated that there is a major gap in the discovery of antibacterial treatment, and this leaves every one of us increasingly vulnerable to bacterial infection, including the simple ones. Therefore, the bioactive compound from naturally accessible fungus, Basidiomycetes FREEM 550, has become our focus as the dimeric sesquiterpene structured compound of the fungus had shown activity against the gram-positive bacteria, and it was proven in the preliminary study. Hence, we isolated and purified the DS compound and tested for individual and combined potential with antibiotics from different classes, such as oxacillin beta-lactam, vancomycin glycopeptide, gentamicin aminoglycoside, linezolid lipopeptide, fusidic acid, oxazolidinones, rifampicin and mupirocin from antamycins. The individual potentials identified using the microprobe dilution technique and a combination potential, the synergistic test was done using the microdilution checkerboard assay, where the colorimetric assays had been performed to determine the MIC and synergistic interaction of DS and antibiotics. The results we obtained from the study showed MIC value of DS was in range of 3.91 to 7.81 microgram per ml for all the strains. Hence, the ratio of the MIC over MVC showed the bactericidal activity of the DS, and it has the potential as anti-MRSA. Therefore, it could be investigated further as a single agent. However, literature stated the single antibiotic for the treatment of S. aureus or MRSA is not often recommended owing to their multi-resistant mechanism. This also supported by another study where MRSA is difficult to kill with a single antibiotic because it has evolved to be resistant to various antibiotics by multiple mechanisms. As a possible solution, we can do a drug combination that is considered a simple method to avoid the complex resistant mechanism of the S. aureus or MRSA. Therefore, we have combined the DS compound with the existing antibiotics in order to evaluate the exertion of the synergistic effects arising from the complex activities of their combinations. From from the result, we can conclude that DX-oxacillin was one of the promising combinations that displayed the synergistic interactions against all the strains, except VISA, where the MIC values of the antibacterial agent was reduced mutually. Another combination was worth to study further as DS fusidic acid, which were synergistic against only FRSA. Assumption where DS compound might act as beta-lactamase inhibitor that could reactivate the activity of oxacillin. Thus, the synergistic effect was observed among DS-oxacillin against most of the MRSA strains. As for the conclusion, I would like to conclude with DS is a potential anti-MRSA candidate, and we should investigate further about the DS to become a co-agent for different antibiotics in combination therapy against different clinical strains. These are the references used for the study, and lastly, I would like to extend my gratitude towards the main funding source, and thank you for whoever involved directly or indirectly for the study, and thank you for listening throughout the presentation.